Hello and welcome. Wonderful to have you all join us. And a special welcome to the Entrepreneurs Marketing and WordPress community, where this is streaming first and foremost. I'm Sharon Henderson. We're also streaming on a number of additional channels today, just trying something different. And also we're trying a different system for streaming. As you know, I've been streaming through a variety of different platforms like StreamYard and BeLive, and today we're trying Ecamm, so please bear with me. It's quite feature rich, so I may be fiddling a little to figure out how things are going. Excuse the croaky voice that came upon me a couple of days ago, so that's fun. Fortunately, I have a wonderful guest speaker with me today who's hopefully going to help me save my voice a little bit and impart a lot of wisdom. So let me welcome, without further ado, Brandy Henry, who is a strategist on a number of platforms, actually, Instagram, and she also has her own podcast too, and I'm sure she'll tell us more about that shortly. So I'm going to pass over to Brandy in a moment, but I just want to introduce her. She has a master's in education, which comes in extremely handy, I'm sure, when she's helping solopreneurs find their place and spread their message and get noticed on social media. Brandy is the owner of Be Comfortable on Instagram, and she helps solopreneurs engage and be at their very best on social media. And I believe that Instagram is one of Brandy's favorite platforms. And yes, today, Brandy is going to share some secrets with us that are going to really help you skyrocket your Instagram following. So I'm going to save my voice now, and I'm going to hand over to Brandy, who is going to tell us some really awesome information. So welcome. Wonderful to have you so much, Brandy.
Thank you, Sharon. It's lovely to be here. I'm really honored to talk to you and your community. I'm coming from Portland, Oregon, so it is amazing to me how connected we can all be now with the internet and social media platforms, and what we're able to do. You know, it's 5 p.m. on Thursday where I am, and I know it's Friday. I can see the sun shining.
It's 2 p.m. here on Wednesday. So
that's right. I'm sorry. Today's Tuesday. My bad. Yep.
Wednesday with us. Yes, we live in the future here in New Zealand.
Yep. So one of my favorite things about social media in general is how we can connect beyond borders, and we can create relationships with people and, surpass our mainstream media channels and really get to know people all over the world. Mm-hmm. And that is one of my favorite things about social media, but especially with Instagram, I found that it was a little quicker and easier to meet people from around the globe. And I've really appreciated that aspect first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But as I got to know Instagram, I got a little bit more serious about it. And I decided to build relationships with people and, surpass our mainstream media channels and really get to know people all over the world.
I'm really, I have an issue. I must apologize. I have an issue when comments don't come through, and I try to respond to comments on the pages. And as soon as I do that, it brings up the sound, and it's very frustrating. So I sincerely apologize, Brandy, and I hope I've not thrown you off, but please continue, won't you?
Yeah.
And I'll try and listen quietly and reply to people quietly if I possibly can.
Yeah, I understand. It's all of the ways we're connected are great, but they're not perfect.
No, they're really not. We have a way to go with lives, especially, I think.
Right. And what I really like about Instagram is the ability to tell a visual story. Mm-hmm. And also the ability to connect and stay top of mind with people.
Yeah.
when I help clients with social media, the first thing I really try to help them understand is that social media is a tool for them, not as a popularity contest, not as hearts and likes, but rather a way to stay top of mind, to allow followers, allow friends, allow connections, all the terms for all the different platforms, allow these real people to get to know, like, and trust you by what you post, how you comment, your disposition, your tone, your quick response rate. All of these things show potential clients what it's like to work with you. And on Instagram especially, Instagram is a little bit more of a vulnerable platform. When we're putting up images that we're proud of, whether it's of us or our family, or you're a writer, or the person is, photography or art, visual art, that is a vulnerable place. And if you're able to show appreciation for the person's post and understand where they're coming from and allow them to get to know you as somebody who is easy to interact with, who is a positive person, you're going to integrate well into Instagram, because people are a lot of artists, there are a lot of visual people, because Instagram is a visual platform, and that ability to appreciate that others are putting up things of theirs that's from their heart, and how we respond to that really matters.
That makes perfect sense. So what happens if you're camera shy?
That's a good one. Very good question. If you're camera shy, maybe you have a few friends that you can get together with and take pictures with each other. You can also do voice over videos where maybe you're walking somebody through, your massage studio or your business, or what it's like to come and arrive for the first time to your counseling area. You can talk over as you walk people through with a short video, and then they're getting to know your voice, your kind of your pacing, your environment, and you don't necessarily always have to be in that picture.
Right, that's true. But what about that ability to connect and form relationships and get people to know you? How do you do that if you're camera shy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I encourage you to post your pets because they don't seem to mind. I have my dog up every 9th or 10th post or so. And I do encourage my clients to get used to do.
I think we may have frozen a little.
Themselves out.
Brandy, can you hear us? Because you froze a little there.
Yep.
That's hopefully...
I can hear you now. Yeah, there was a little glitching going on.
A gremlin at work. Would you mind repeating that last little bit for us, please?
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Thank you.
Think of putting pictures of yourself or a video that you've done. When you do that, you are saying, hey, I want you to get to know me. I want to show you who I am and be real about it. It's not, you're not there as a beauty contest or any of that. You're there to allow others to see that you are easy to talk to, or you're approachable, that you are a human being that they can start relating to. And social media, like Instagram, it is a long-term game. It is about building relationships, but at least you can do it from the comfort of your couch.
That's very true. That is very true. Can I just read out a message that we have from Edward Howington? He says, in response to my question to you, I'll just see if I can put it up again. I don't know if that works. As I say, I'm still playing around with my new toy, so bear with me, but that has worked. Let me suggest this. If you're camera shy, I promise you won't be after a few months practicing cam frog. lots of laugh out loud, the most brutal people ever. I don't actually know anything about Camfrog, but you're nodding there, Brandy. Do you know anything about Camfrog?
I didn't know he was going to Camfrog, but he's right. It just takes a few posts. It takes a few times to get comfortable, and to become accepting. And remember, there's like 15 different filters, and you can choose which one you think makes you look the best, and
that's also
get yourself out there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's something that I think I've mentioned to you during a chat that we had pre-live, that Instagram's relatively new to me, and I find it easy enough to talk professionally about things and a little bit of side chatter, but I'm not someone that puts up my kids because at the end of the day, when they come to apply for jobs, employers are going to Google them, and I don't want them in pictures of nappies, and I don't know what else, because it's probably not what they want employers to see. Right. So I try to be respectful of that and allow them to make the decision with guidance as to when they start to go public, so to speak. It's such a different world that we live in. This was not a consideration with the last generation of kids. It certainly wasn't a consideration with mine. But anyway, so kids are out for me. Animals, you can only do so much. And I know in my heart that there needs to be more of me out there, I suppose, for Instagram, and yet it just doesn't feel right for me. So what's a way of giving a little of yourself without giving too much, I guess, would be my question. That's a long way round of presenting that question, but you get the gist.
So think of it in terms of what other people are, experiencing, and how they're trying to get to know who you are, as well as your right to not maybe give away too much of yourself. So when I do images of my house, it's usually the backyard or something that's not too private. When I have gotten comfortable over time doing selfies and taking pictures with friends, and I've had some professional pictures done, and what it is that makes you feel the best to put pictures out there. I've seen gorgeous pictures of you, Sharon, that you had done, your profile shots and the different images I see on your Facebook sites, and I would encourage you to use those, or use some of the images that maybe didn't make the best of the best. That came from those shots, those scenes, those sessions, and you just kind of gotta do it. You gotta figure out how to reward yourself for it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think we're very. I think particularly as women, we can be very self-conscious about how we look on any particular day. And I really celebrate people that do lives when they're sick and they're in their dressing gown, like Bria Gann, who appeared on a live last week. And one of my first connections with her was seeing her on an Insta story saying, all huddled up with very little voice, saying that she was feeling pretty rubbish. And that reality, that honesty, that transparency was quite lovely, and it made me connect with her. But it's a brave thing to do. It is I feel it's a brave thing to do.
Yeah, and it's challenge yourself to get maybe 5 images of yourself out in the world, story, or it is a selfie or a picture with a friend, and then you get to go, maybe take for your favorite dessert out, or a new set of earrings, or those shoes you've been wanting. Give yourself a reward.
Again, sorry. Same deal. I'm trying to reply to someone because
no worries.
My apologies. Carry on.
Okay.
Someone's actually complaining that we have a little bit of an echo. Elaine Richardson Green, who must be in... Oh, no, I don't think she's in the group. So I don't know why she's not coming through on the feed. But she was saying that there's a bit of an echo. So I've just tried to add a correction. multitasking here. It's never a good thing, especially when you get surround sound every time you try to do it. So I'm just asking her if that's better. My apologies, Brandy. Just while we're in that break as well, Edward Harrington's also made a comment. Let me suggest this. Oh, no, it's the next one. Here we go. Let me put the next one on instead, if it will let me. So he's just responded a follow-up to his Camfrog. Good for practice to do, but not for business, though. He's just talking in general. He's just meaning that it's good for getting used to talking on camera, and it's so true. I remember the prospects of doing a Facebook Live was utterly terrifying at the beginning, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you do get. But I am enjoying the inspiration that you're giving with the sort of content to post. So we've talked about pets. We've talked about location, and so for example, when I did a little Insta story earlier, just letting people know we were going live, and I shot it in the backyard, and it's quite lovely when I listened back to it because I could hear all the cicadas chirping, which is lovely because of course we're heading into summer while you're heading into winter. Now, what else did you say? Favorite desserts? That sounds a yummy one. Were there any other suggestions? Because I'm making a mental note of them all. Good.
Yeah, so people they want to get to know you. And when you're on Instagram and you're able to take a picture and in the copy or the word section below, share the story that's happening in the picture in a way that relates back to what it is that is the larger mission or reason that you're on social media.
Yep.
You're always kind of tying it back to whether it's the coaching that you do or it's, technical work you do.
Yep.
There's, take that picture and relate it back to how it supports your overall reason for being on social media, your business reason.
Okay, that sounds good. So give me an example of how we can tie our animals. I'm being very unkind here and putting you on the spot, but I need this question answered. So animals, dessert. How do we tie that back to our overall mission? And it's a very powerful statement that you make, because I see a lot of Instagram feeds where people are not doing that. And I remember one particular person who had a massive following, but she said to me, I'm not actually converting anything. And it was because she didn't have it tied. But it would be really interesting to hear how you would tie those more general posts to your mission.
Right. So, for example, my reason for being on social media is to help people better engage, to help everybody show up and share the best of themselves and their mission, their business, etc. So if I were doing something with my dog, I might post about how she's with me in my office and keeping me company while I reach back out to clients and answer questions that they have on how the different ways of using each of the platforms they're on.
Cool. I like that. Nice linking.
Right.
And what about what's about the dessert? How does that one go? Energy for fueling my inspiration for this that I need to do. I guess that would be a good one.
Exactly. So you're excited about this fancy dessert because you finally hit so many. You did 25 lives.
Yep.
And that was your goal to do over 2 months. And you're excited about that. And you're eager to help other people reach the same goal.
Yep. That's a good one. Thank you. So can you, do you want to give us a little bit of background about how you found yourself on this journey to doing what you do now, and maybe give us a little bit more insight into what you do and how you help people, because that would be really, really cool to hear.
Yeah, so before social media was around, I was I did a lot of guidance and counseling, a lot of helping people decide their careers, how to show up, how to be kind of what they call now adulting. I helped a lot of young adults transition into their adulting lives, and I still really enjoy that age range, the 20-somethings. And then as social media came around, I got to know different platforms. And with Instagram, I really fell in love with Instagram. I like the a little more vulnerability people show up with, because they're generally showing their art. Their photography, of course, was the dominant for a long time. And I found myself doing a lot of lives for the writing community that I was active in, and teaching other people how to show up and do lives well, how to be a gracious host, how to acknowledge other people, how to read comments and have everyone feel included, how to, really welcome everybody and, flow through the hour, because that's about what I would do, is an hour of an Instagram live once or twice a week, and engage everyone in the community. I found myself then doing lives on how to do lives, which is rather meta, but it was what I ended up doing. And then I realized I really wanted to have a business of my own, and I enjoy teaching. And so what I do is I sit down with clients, usually one-to-one and in person or over Skype, and we're figuring out what button does what, and how to set up their profile, and how to hold the right button to get a story posted, and all of that.
Wow.
It's fun.
It sounds fun. And you've moved from there to helping solopreneurs with their getting their message out now. And you focus mostly on Instagram. Do you focus on any other platforms as well?
I do. So most people will come to me for help specifically with Instagram. And then what I find is we need to massage their overall mission, their overall purpose and focus on social media. And yes, we need to learn how to use Instagram, but we also want to understand how it's different than Facebook and different than LinkedIn. What does it mean to be consistent across platforms? What does it mean to show up and answer messages and all of that? Sorry. It's okay. No worries. So, and then sometimes people want to, grow beyond that. But most of the time, for most people who are starting a new business and need to get going on social media and need to launch themselves and get rolling forward, those are my people, the beginners. And I enjoy it.
That's awesome. And it's cool to be able to help beginners. Because I think a lot of us have these assumptions. I clicked a button. I'm really sorry. To have a look at chats, and what it's done is opened up every page I'm streaming on. And once they load, they start making noise. So sorry. It's just a lesson for next time not to click that button again. So I'm just trying to click out of them so that they don't do all of that, because they are. I'll be one moment. My apologies. It's very frustrating. If you can think of a way around it, a solution that enables you to communicate with people that doesn't do that, that would be wonderful. Or if anybody watching knows a way to check on all the comments and engage without making noise, I would really love to know. But my apologies.
You can do. Sorry. Yeah, Instagram Live. You can have two people.
Yeah, you probably can. Hey, the thing is that it's one platform, and I do like being able to focus on more than one platform, particularly because Instagram has its place. And I think for a brand that's really established, it's a great place to grow that brand. But I do think that, unfortunately, Facebook is also very important for Facebook Lives to grow that following. Can't wait for LinkedIn to have lives as well. That will be really handy. But going back to my question, what I was going to say was, I think it's great to be able to help beginners, because I think a lot of us make assumptions about what people know and about a level of experience that they may or may not have, and so you can end up complicating things and using jargon that can overwhelm. So that's very cool that is your focus, helping people with the basics so that they can grow in confidence. So that's awesome. It's
it's a lot of fun. It's fun to help people learn something that they're wanting to learn and understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, of course, is when the most learning happens as well, because people are still open to it and they don't have that they're not proceeding with that assumption that they know everything already. So that's quite cool.
Yeah.
It means they're so much more malleable and easier to help, I imagine. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So anything else that you would like to share with us before we close? I'm struggling to find comments without having lots of audio.
I encourage people to go and follow other people. Mm-hmm. Go and follow all your previous clients, all your dream clients that you would like to one day hire you, mm-hmm. and follow the people who are kind of upstream and downstream of your business, kind of, your colleagues, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are referral partners, right? The people who we work with kind of tangentially, mm-hmm. and really, acknowledge them on social media and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
That is one of the great things about Instagram, is that a lot of times a lot more barriers are down, and you can say, hey, or great picture of your date night or different things, and you stay top of mind as the person that they know does your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what good engagement is. It's not all about just getting lots of followers or, lots of likes. It's really about acknowledging the other people that are potential clients, mm-hmm. or who you want to remember to refer you to other people.
Yep.
It's just, like networking, showing up and being your best self, yep. digitally.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I do like that phrase, top of mind, because that really
mm-hmm.
is what it's all about. As well as, for me, another one is adding value. It's really important too, I think.
Yes.
What is interesting is that there's been a proliferation of tools to grow your Instagram following that have actually ended up biting people in the bum. I don't know if you can talk about that before we close.
Yes, there really are out there. I mean, you can go for about the cost of going out to lunch, buy 1,000 followers. I mean, you can buy fake followers. You can buy fake likes. I've seen people do it. I've been disappointed by others who are also in similar fields that I am, go and do it. I understand their motivation, but I don't agree with actually doing that.
Yeah.
And it does happen. And there's... be careful who you're comparing yourself to. Be careful who you think is doing such a great job.
Yes.
Take a look and go a little deeper. And if you're suspicious and it doesn't feel right to you, it might not actually be what, looks like on the surface.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And what I tend to do now when I'm engaging with people or checking profiles, if they've got a really big following, I look at their posts and see, and although this is being taken away now, isn't it, which is incredibly frustrating, but a very helpful tool is to be able to see how many likes each post is going. And if it's a micro percentage of their total following, then you know that most of their followers are not active and genuine.
Right.
But that's going to go. So what will we do then, I wonder?
I think as a business person, you want to stay concerned with if you're getting good value from following that person. That could be like educational content. It could be motivation. It could be just feeling better.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to your own post, you want to make sure how many profile visits you get. In other words, in your posts, are people going above and beyond to look more into you?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
And
not just...
Yeah. And you're absolutely right on that. But that doesn't help us determine, now that they've taken away the ability to see who is liking other people's posts, how can we tell? So you basically have to go on feel and gut, because there's no analytics to see now, which is...
Right.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. We'll all figure it out. We will.
I'm sure we will. Now, I have a couple more comments here. I'll just see if I can pop one back on. What's that going to show? Work with me. Oh, now I've got the thinking icon, the dreaded multicolored icon. I might have to read it out. Is it? Here we go. Is it a matter of displaying content on different subjects so pics relate to the topic? Jeff Shefford wants to know. I think that's in relation to growing a following, I suppose. Is it a matter of displaying content on different subjects? Pics related to the topic. I'm not.
So say Jeff were a health coach.
Mm-hmm.
He would want to put up posts that allow people to get to know him kind of out in the world. He might be out on a hike, or he's at the grocery store, or with his dog or family, but also 1 or 2 posts a week that offer good content, like a delicious smoothie recipe or something that motivates people for the long haul of healthy living.
Yeah.
And so it's a mix. It's a mix of us getting to know Jeff, who he is as a person, but also, walking his talk, and then providing things that are helpful and free bits of content that allows us to get to trust Jeff.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of everything that's related to Jeff, but the different ways a human being wants to kind of get to know the big picture.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very different world. That's what I keep coming back to, and you have to you either have to embrace it or find a different platform. I will be honest, I find it a struggle. I really do. I haven't quite, in terms of mindset, got there because although it may not appear on the face of it, I'm a fiercely private person. So for me, it's difficult. I can do professional till the cows come home, but I do keep coming back to that fact that I am private, and I want my private life to stay private, just like back in the old days when it was.
That's true. No, I understand. And for most of us, we really do have to pick our platforms, and we really have to, if you're going to be a business person on a platform, you really do need to be kind of all in, because you want to be responding to comments and you want to know what's going on, and you can't spread yourself so thin that you're almost wasting your time by being too unapproachable or too, you're not really there.
Yep, exactly.
And that's okay.
And I think that, Brandy, it was you that was saying during our chat that in terms of the number of platforms that you're on, you're on too many when you can no longer respond to all the messages, and that really resonated for me. Very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you really need to stay on top of those.
You do.
Well, I'm glad that.
I have another comment from Jeff. I'm just waiting for it to load up. There's a little bit of a delay, but we'll get there. Here we go. So Jeff says, I can see this working for photographers. Brandy, do you want to comment on that?
For sure. I'm not a photographer, but I have learned how to hold my phone just right. You don't want it to be down here. No one wants to look up your nose, right?
No.
So, I've learned to hold it up and make sure the lighting is right and just try to be myself. And it's absolutely great for photographers. Yes, that's where Instagram really grew. That's where most of the community really started. For years, it was kind of their secret little place. And then the rest of us all showed up. And
with our not so perfect images. And it's quite refreshing, isn't it? To be able to show reality and what's okay. I mean, in that respect, it's quite refreshing, because for so long, all we've seen is magazines with photoshopped images, everything perfect.
Right.
So from that perspective, I think it's a real positive that you see the reality.
Yeah.
You see people show up in a dressing gown when they're sick or with no makeup or, and that's okay. And I think that's a real positive aspect of Instagram, I think. What do we have?
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm just putting on another message from Jeff. It's thinking. We have a smiley face, but that's not the one I wanted. It's gonna. Anyway, I'll read it out. He says, "A pro at selfies, LOL." I mean, I just thought the whole selfie stick was so comical, but I don't have one. I do not have one, but I can understand now why people might have them. So
yep.
Yeah, it is a different world, and for me, it does. It takes some. So for me, it's a mindset shift, and I imagine that some of your clients do feel the same way if they're very new to putting themselves out there. Not that I'm saying I'm new at that; it's the Instagram side of things, as we've talked about pre-live.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So Jeff has said, thanks for the info, guys. Thank you for your contribution, Jeff. Always appreciate it. Does anybody have any more questions before my voice goes completely and we're out of time? I'll just wait a moment because there is obviously a little bit of a delay for broadcasting. But if we don't hear from anybody soon, then I'll invite you, Brandy, to share any closing thoughts. If you have a link that you would like us to share, then I can actually play with my little tool, my little toy here, and type it out for you. So let me know if there's something you'd like me to put up there, and I can, or if you just want to say a little bit.
I'd love. Oops, let's see. I got to get to the right little. I'd love for people to know about my podcast. That would be great.
Yeah. So do you have a link for that podcast, and I can type it in now for you?
Yeah. Let me. There you are, and. It is, the name of the podcast is Engaging on Social Media with Brandy Henry.
Let me just write. And I've got as far as Brandy's podcast. I'm just going to do the next bit now. You can only do little bits at a time. Engaging.
Yeah, Engaging on Social Media with Brandy Henry.
Media with Brandy. Oops. Brandy Henry.
And I am finding where to send the link back to you.
Let's make that a little bit smaller so it fits. And it just takes a little bit of time to show up. I have my little counter going again. Where did it go? There we go. So I've got Brandy's podcast. So that's right across the screen. And is there a link they can find that on? Or do they search, Google it?
Yeah, you can Google it. It's on iTunes. It's on all the platforms. And I try to always fill it. It's once a week, fill it with content and mindset about social media. And I always end it with a booster to help people feel good as the show ends and keep going with what they're doing. So that'd be great.
We need that. We definitely need that. So definitely something to tune into if you're looking to engage on social media in a live way, or even non-live presumably too. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think mindset has a lot to do with it, and it's about shifting that mindset, embracing. So thank you, and it would be wonderful if we can do another live at a later date, so we can have an add-on, and maybe we can run a poll and see what people would like to learn next about Instagram. We'll make it really specific. To everybody who has contributed, asked questions, or even just watched quietly in the background, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. And I look forward to tuning in with everybody next week. And just another huge thank you to Brandy for her time. We've really enjoyed having you. Thank you so much, Brandy.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye.